Hello and good evening, and welcome to Blue Dream Love and Wellness. I am Cynthia, the owner of this beautiful business, and I am here tonight to grace you with the digestive system. We have so many ins and outs and systems and organs and glands and meridians and chakras and pernicious influences that flow throughout our body. And when we work with them individually, we can go in and see where the imbalances lie, because if something is not balanced here, it will be imbalanced over here. So they all coincide together. So I welcome you and thank you. What we will be covering tonight is just the first part in this series. We will be covering the tongue, the stomach sphincter, and remember there's two parts to that: the stomach, the small intestine, and the pancreas. And let me move this. Excuse me. It's not going to let me have it. Don't you just love how it plays? So we all know that our beautiful tongue is a muscular. It's not letting me move it. I just love this. Okay, let me put it over here. All righty then. We all know that the tongue is a muscular organ that assists with chewing and mixing with the salivary enzymes and the first stage of digestion. It is covered with taste buds that play a big role in our taste. And you may experience diminished ability to taste and to have discomfort. Now, those of you that have had COVID will understand that your taste is gone or very diminished. So with everybody's permission, if you have any questions, please put it in chat. We are going to go through each one of these and make sure that everybody is aligned. Is that cool with everybody? Okay, awesome. So the first thing we want to work on is the epiglottis. The epiglottis is that little flap in the back of our throat that allows food to pass, and it will open and close. So I am going to connect with your energy. And the epiglottis is not happy. It actually has a broadcast message within it. And it's punish me. We don't need to know an age, but there is a belief to punish me. And it's the divine. So this is in the belief code. And it is success underneath. So we go in and we find what the negative programming is. I don't even want to try. Now, is there a emotional resonance, a trapped emotion? Is there a subconscious gap? Is there a reverberation? Is there an identity? Is there a fragmentation? Underlying, secret, hidden, hiding? So energetically, we can run our hand, because our hands are magnets. We can run this right over the back of our heads, from the nose to the back. This is the governing meridian, and allow this defragmentation to happen. And since there are no trapped emotions, emotional resonances, or a faulty core belief, or a faulty core identity, or any of the thing, we can actually release this. So we want to release this statement, and then we want to put in its place because not always do we need to, but we do at times. The way is clear for my success. Now take that in, breathe it in, let it flow out. And that is balanced and that is in there. So the palatopharyngeal arch, the very top where your uvula hangs down, this is happy. The palatine tonsils are happy, but the linguinal are not. And there is a no will energy, no will to receive abundance. And this actually has a trapped emotion of being unsupported in life. Underlying secret, hidden, hiding, hooked. So we can release this. Now I release it by utilizing advanced techniques. You can go with your hand. You can use a magnet as long as it releases. So everybody take a breath and allow that to balance. Palate-glossal arch is happening. So the rest of them are all happy. Yay. So when we get down here to the bottom, these are all taste buds in here. And different sides have different tastes. Salty, sweet, sour. And it's really amazing what our tongue can pick up. Now remember, since mastication, chewing, digestion starts within the mouth. We can do this before we eat. We can do this after we eat, but we would rub our hands together, flick off that negative energy, and you would start from the back of your throat and come around and you would run it down your arm, and then you would do it the other side and run it down your arm. You're thinking, oh, how silly this is, but it's really not. It helps our digestion. And we all need help with digestion from one time or another. There's so many places on the actual physical body where we can apply techniques to allow this to occur. We can also, if we're having a big and heavy meal, we can go underneath our breast line where the large intestine goes, and you can bring the energy across down your leg, and you do it on both sides. And then you go lower to where the descending comes out into the rectum and where the ascending comes up from the small intestine. And you would do the same thing on both sides. It is simply quite nice that we can aid ourselves in digestion. Now, the stomach itself has sphincters, a cardiac sphincter at the top, which is up here, and the pyloric sphincter down here at the bottom. Both of these can become misaligned, and the body of the stomach, as we know, can be misaligned. So is the fundus. Everything here is happy from what the picture is showing me. So the cardiac sphincter, it is situated at the very top of our stomach, and it actually opens up to allow food that is swallowed to enter into our stomach. And if this malfunction, acid chyme and stomach from the stomach can actually come up and cause a burning in the esophagus and cause acid reflux. I'm sure we've all had that from one time or another. So acid reflux, stomach discomfort, and digestion difficulties, including gas and bloating. So it does say, yes, now that we're on this, and this is an energy, it is a broadcast message. Make me suffer. This has a trapped emotion, effort unreceived, so we can remove that. But it also has a belief code, and it goes to insight, And inside the insight, it goes to illness. There is nothing that can be done about my illness. Okay. Is there a fragmentation, another faulty core belief, any other beliefs that are situation underneath of this? There's not a faulty core, there's not a subconscious gap, there's not a fragmentation. So we're going to remove that broadcast message and we are going to put back in its place that I focus. So again, when you put in positives, you can tap it here, you can tap it here, or you can just go from your governing meridian down. I focus on wholeness and take steps towards it now. Is everybody okay? Okay. Now, the pyloric sphincter on the very bottom of the stomach actually controls the passage of this partially digested food from the stomach into the small intestine. So again, we can have discomfort in the stomach region and digestive issues, including gas and bloating. That's normal for these. And there's no hidden underlying secrets, unacknowledged, nothing like that in there. All of our pyloric sphincters are happy. So the next thing I want to talk to us about is this lovely stomach we have. As we know, this is a muscular organ that secretes protein digesting enzymes, hydrochloric acid, mucus, and it churns and swallowed the food and it begins that beautiful digestive process. Now, if our stomach is imbalanced, that microbiome is not going to be happy, and we can actually have candida. That's a whole nother ball game. And there is candida present with all of us here today. Stage 3. So we'll need to talk about that and what we need to do. I'm sure that everybody on here has that candida sheet. So the common symptoms of the stomach are actually discomfort in the neck, shoulder, elbow, and wrist. When I talk to people about this, they're really surprised because they never connect it. Remember, when you have an imbalance somewhere, it is going to make pain somewhere else in your body. You can also have a hiatal hernia. You can have acid reflux, stomach pain, ulcers, bloating and gas, diarrhea, and constipation. It doesn't stop. There's so much involved with the stomach. Now, it does produce 4 hormones: ghrelin, leptin, somatostatin, and triphospholipeptides. Now, these can become misaligned, and the triphospholipeptides are misaligned due to a food toxin in rich flours and processed foods. With what the world we're living in today, we cannot get away from all the toxicities within our food, unfortunately. So we need to be a little bit more observant of what we are eating. We can do figure eights over our food, which will change the vibrational frequency. You can also rub your hands, shake them before you do all that. Go backwards and go all the way up and pull the negativity out of it. And then once you do, sprinkle in a clockwise position the energy back in. Now, the emotional energy that is aligned with the stomach are all of these: anxiety, despair, disgust, nervousness, worry, failure, helplessness, hopelessness, lack of control, and low self-esteem. it is so imperative that we pay a little bit closer attention to what's going on within our stomach. One of the things we can do for our stomach is to run the stomach meridian. As I've taught before, the little notch in the bottom of your orbit of your eye is right where that stomach meridian starts. So when we come down to the hollows of our cheek and we tap for our stomach meridian, we can balance it. We can ground ourselves. There's so many benefits from tapping. And when you tap this area, please go down from your collarbone down, straight down, about an inch down. There's a little indentation there. This is the 27th point on your kidney meridian. And you want to tap that because that gives us a little extra energy to help us digest. And then down in the center, just zip right down. And this is the thymus gland. We can tap our thymus gland to send out macrophages and T cells to actually help fight any foreign invaders from that food. And then we can go to our spleen point on our sides, right straight back from our nipples, and tap. If you're having a heavy meal or any meal, you can tap before and ever and after and allow this to fully function and allow you to digest your food a little bit easier. It is a very beautiful thing to learn how to work with the energies of your body. Now, the diurnal cycle, with most organs and glands, we do have diurnal cycles, and the stomach meridian runs first thing in the morning from 7 to 9 a.m. The diurnal means that it is the most prominent time that these function. So this is when it's at its highest functioning peak. So running your stomach meridian will help greatly. So how we do that, again, we rub our beautiful hands together, get that energy going, shake it off. You come from underneath where that stomach is, you go down to the bottom of your chin, come up, you come back down the center of your eyes, go to your nipples, go out to your waist, come down to the inside of your legs, go all the way down and off your toes. Now, if this is misaligned, we can actually run it backwards. So you would start at your big toes, come up the inner thighs, come up to our hips, come up to our nipples, come back and run it backwards. And when you run it backwards, you need to run it forward 3 times. That's very important. And once you learn the feeling of actually running your meridians, at first you may not feel anything. And when you start to feel the physical body change, it may feel a little odd to you, and that's okay. That just means that your energy is moving. So that's even more precious when we can actually, by touch, balance our meridian, balance our stomach, balance our life. So the next thing I want to talk about is the beautiful small intestines, all of this in here. As we know, the small intestine absorbs all those nutrients from our food, and it's composed of 3 different parts, the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. Now, each one of these can be misaligned, so you need to go through each one, and then you need to make sure all 3 of them are working in tandem, because if they're not, it's not going to function properly for you. So for all of us here tonight is the duodenum. Okay, yes, it's perfect. It's at 100%. The jejunum is not, though. And it's because of a food toxin. It's because of a sweetener, sugar alcohol, and it's maltitol. When we do not realize and don't read the ingredients, we can take in stuff that isn't good for us, that is going to injure our bodies. So is our hook corticogeneration. So we're just going to release this. Everybody take a deep breath. And please make sure you hydrate well tonight. Get these toxins out of your small intestine. Allow it to go into the large intestine and evacuate. Your liver will also have to cleanse it. And then that goes down through your kidneys to remove it. And it can also come out on your skin. That is happy. The ileum, this very last part before it hooks into the small intestine, is not happy either. And this is another food toxin. Except this time, it is a food coloring. Remember, and sometimes I have to boink myself in the head. I was drinking Gatorade to hydrate. And then just a couple of weeks ago, I thought, wait a minute. How many dyes are within this? There were 3. Do you ever read on what you're drinking? How many dyes are in there? Red dye, green dye, yellow dye, blue dye. They eat this bone in the front of our head. ADD and ADHD children will make them spaz. It will feed their energy even more. So if we cut that out, it will allow the mind to actually function properly. So we're going to release that. Everybody take a deep breath. And they said, actually, there's a belief code here. It's passion, trust. I'll never do what I'll say I'll do. There's not a trapped emotion. There's no other imbalances underneath there. There's limiting, no faulty core identity, there is fragmentation. There's no subconscious gap. So we're just going to energetically balance that fragmentation, and we're going to remove this energy, and we're going to put a positive back in. I always fill negatives with a positive because we certainly do not want it to fill with more negative. Not that it will, but it has a possibility. And you want to put in, I do what I commit to do. Now, when our small intestine is imbalanced, again, the bloating and gas, pain in the lower back. But did you realize you could have pain in your knees? We all know about the diarrhea, the nausea, but do you realize the skin itself can have issues due to the lack of nutrients being absorbed? It's simply amazing of how beautiful our body works together. So it does produce cholecystokinin, secretin, big and little gastrin, and glucose-dependent insulin trophic. And these are not happy. Let's find out why. It's the big and little gastrin that is not happy. Again, a toxin. Again, a food toxin. And it's a flavor enhancer. And it is MSG. MSG, monosodium glutamate, can go by other names as well. And it is developed commercially. And some people are very highly sensitive. When I first got alerted to how dangerous it was for me, we were eating at an Oriental restaurant. I didn't know that I shouldn't be eating off of the food bar, and I ended up passing out and in a seizure and ended up in the hospital. So remember, these chemicals, these additives can do so much damage to our body, but we don't realize it. So let's remove all MSG. It is a physical imbalance. Everybody take a breath, please, and blow that out. Thank you. So the emotional energy, remember, these emotions can lay anywhere within our body, but within the small intestine, abandonment, betrayal, forlorn, lost, love unreceived, effort unreceived, heartache, insecurity, overjoy, and vulnerability. And yes, you're right. These are the same ones that are encompassed by Dr. Bradley Nelson for the heart as well. So when you have both those voices going at you like this, try to not take on that negative voice. Let it come, let it go. Fill it with 3 positives. Don't allow yourself to stay in that negative state. And I know that's easier said than done. But the more you practice, the more blessings will come into your life, if that makes sense to you. Now, the diurnal cycle for the small intestine is from 1 to 3 p.m. So again, running that meridian is very important. Now, the small intestine is a little bit different than the stomach. You would start at your index finger, you would go up the inside of your arm, you would come to your shoulder, you would go back, and then you would go back and touch your collarbone, come up to your neck, and come up to your mouth, off to your ear, and flick it off. You want to do it to both sides. You can do it above the energy field, or you can do it on the energy field. You can utilize a magnet. You can utilize a crystal. It just enhances that movement. You don't have to be exact. I have so many, oh, I can't touch it exactly. That's cool. Your body knows it's all about intention, love, and peace and harmony for our bodies. So the next one, which a lot of people really struggle with, is the pancreas. It secretes the hormones that help to regulate blood sugar, as well as hormones that help digest your food. It is located behind your stomach. And remember, your stomach is on the right side, the liver is on the left, and behind that stomach lays this beautiful little organ that looks like a pickle, and it has so many duties. It certainly does. So let's keep going. The symptoms you may have: you can have discomfort in your mid-back, your left shoulder, even your low back, and your wrist and thumb. Because where does that meridian line go? Okay. Hormones that are produced: insulin, glucagon, somatostatin, pancreatic peptides, digestive juices, which contains bicarbonate and digestive enzymes. Now, if your pancreas is not functioning properly, none of this is going to work, and your digestive enzymes are definitely not going to be able to break down any food. When you have that issue, you need to take protease. It is an enzyme. This is from Nature's Sunshine. Sorry, I can't get it on my camera just right. And you need to take it with each meal, but you need to use applied kinesiology and muscle test how many you need. Do you need it before, or do you need it after? I take mine before. So let us check. Oh, it's not going to let me see the whole thing there. So when we have emotional energy within the pancreas, you have humiliation, jealousy, longing, lust, overwhelm, pride, shame, shock, unworthy, and worthlessness. And remember, when we're dealing with blood sugar issues, there can be walls of these emotions created around this pancreas. So do we have our blood sugar is happy? Our glands are happy. The glucagon is not. This is a broadcast message. Make me suffer. Make me suffer is actually a belief, and it's survival. Victim mentality. I'll never be any different. This doesn't have any trapped emotions. There's not another negative program. There's not a limiting belief, a faulty core belief, a faulty core identity. There's no subconscious gap, but there is a fragmentation. So we're going to balance this fragmentation energetically by just swiping from the governing meridian to the back of our neck and swiping it off. And then we are going to remove the energy of this negative statement. And we want to put a positive back in there. And it is saying, I am safe. Yes. Is the liver happy? Is insulin, high sugar, low blood sugar promote? The pancreas itself is not happy. So, is there a deep underlying imbalance within the pancreas that does not allow it to be happy? Yes. It's going back to a toxin, to a drug, to a vaccination, physical, age 33. And this is from an injection, and you actually have a mercury toxicity within this. It is not vibrating, there's no walls, so we're going to remove the mercury toxicity. We're going to remove the vaccination energy. And we are going to bring in the color of green to allow Saint Raphael to heal this in all its aspects. Everybody take a deep breath, and when you breathe out through your teeth. 3 times, please. The reason I have you do certain sounds, some understand, some do not. When you make a certain vibrational energy with your voice and different, when you release, see the vibration? You can feel the different vibrations, whether it's your cerebellum, your cerebrum, your amygdala, the thalamus gland, the hypothalamus. It releases, and it's a very beautiful thing to release. Now, with the pancreas, there's some other things we can do as well, but I don't think this is the time for us to get that deep into it. Something else we can do for the small intestine that just pinged that I did not say. Curve your fingers like this, and underneath your rib cage, from the middle of your ribs, right at the bottom, dig up in there, massage in there. And I don't mean just once, several times a day. Help your body help itself to be able to function appropriately, so your health and wellness is always vibrant, and you don't have to see Western doctors. You can just handle it yourself. Now, as we know, I do the AO scanner. This is a bioresonance machine that can detect imbalances within your body. It feeds off of your very own unique frequencies, and it's simply amazing. Our voice sends off these 7 octaves, and we can find out just from the octaves and energy and frequencies of your body what is misaligned, if it's acutely misaligned, or if it's chronically misaligned, or if it's right in the middle where it should be. It's absolutely beautiful. This is not a diagnostic machine. It is a knowledge machine to teach you how to better care for yourself. So with a 10-second voice clip, I can do an inner voice scan and so much more that will aid you in keeping your body and your wellness at its top. It has homeopathics in it. It has Cephi frequency in it. It has home energetics. There is so much that you can do with this beautiful handheld device. And now what they're actually doing, if you just want to be a preferred customer and not actually go into all the hubbub of it all, for $149 a month, you can have this machine and utilize it for yourself every single day. And believe me, it's well worth the $149 a month, because you can do so much with it. And wouldn't you rather take care of your health care now instead of paying for it down the road? I wish I'd have had it many, many moons ago, and I wouldn't have been through all the things we've been through. It's amazing. And even for my burn, it has stuff for burns. It has from A to Z. It is simply amazing. So for this webinar here tonight, I will run your hormones at a reduced rate. All you need to do is message me. This will allow you to see where your hormones are, whether they are low, whether they are high, producing too much, or whether they are just perfect for you. One thing we can also do for our hormones is rub our hands, shake them off, put the palm of your hand right here on your baseline, wrap it over the top of your crown, the back of your head. You come to the pineal gland back here, and you wrap it up over, and you link. I hope you can see that, your hands together. And I know it's uncomfortable for your arms, but you can hold that several minutes, several deep breaths. And once your body aligns, you can feel the vibrational frequency of this actually occurring within your body. Like I said, it does take time when you learn how to work with the energies of your bodies to be able to rub, touch, tap here, and hook them together. One of the things we are taught is the third eye, the belly button, push in, pull up, and it actually syncs the upper and lower body together. And you will yawn, you will feel an energy release. And there it goes. Once the body is hooked up. You can also, I know we talk about grounding and shielding, but one thing we can do is to zip up our energies. So you would go from your root chakra to your chin, and I do it 3 times because the governing and the central meridian actually hook up in the back on the roof of your mouth. So you would hook it in, turn the key, toss it, come from the back, come around, hook it, shut it, and throw it. And it is zipped up. So that's just more ways to protect yourself. There's so many beautiful techniques that we can do. And if you would like to learn more, please don't hesitate to reach out, and let's teach you how to work with your very own unique frequencies of your body. I hope you learned something tonight. If you have any questions, please message, text, whatever you need to do. And I want to thank you for being here with me tonight. This was a shorter webinar because there's 2 parts, and I absolutely love you being here. Namaste.